We are taking a journey into the heart of one of the most controversial and eye-opening scandals of our time, the ClimateGate scandal and its aftermath, as detailed in Christopher Monckton of Brenchley's explosive book, Caught Green-Handed. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride through the murky waters of climate science, political agendas, and the shocking revelations that have left the world questioning everything we thought we knew about global warming. Picture this. It's November 2009, and the world's political elite are gearing up for a historic meeting in Copenhagen, Denmark. The goal? To hammer out a treaty that would, in essence, create a global government with unprecedented power to control markets, tax wealthier nations, and regulate our lives, all under the guise of combating man-made global warming. But just weeks before this monumental event, an anonymous hero, a whistleblower deep within the bowels of the University of East Anglia, decided it was time to blow the lid off a scandal that would shake the very foundations of climate science. This whistleblower, whose identity remains a mystery to this day, had been gathering evidence for months. Emails, computer code, data, you name it, they had it. And then, in a move that would change everything, they uploaded a 61-megabyte compressed file to an obscure internet message board. Their message was clear: the climate is too important to keep this information secret. The data from the university would be available for a short time only. What this whistleblower revealed was nothing short of astonishing. It exposed a tiny, highly influential clique of climate scientists centered around the Climate Research Unit, or CRU, at East Anglia. This group, known as the Team, had been manipulating and distorting scientific data to fit a narrative that was not only politically convenient, but also financially lucrative for themselves and the governments that funded their research. The evidence was damning. The Team had tampered with data, excluded inconvenient scientific results, and even conspired to redefine what constitutes peer-reviewed science. They had used a trick to hide the decline in temperatures, admitted that their inability to explain the lack of warming was a travesty, and engaged in a campaign of disinformation and denigration against their scientific opponents. One of the most shocking revelations was the infamous trick to hide the decline in temperatures. In an email from November 1999, Professor Phil Jones of the CRU discussed adding instrumental data to proxy data to conceal a decline in temperatures. When confronted, Jones claimed he didn't know what he meant by hide the decline, but the evidence suggested otherwise. The trick was a deliberate manipulation of data to create the illusion of continued warming. The whistleblower's data file contained thousands of lines of computer code, revealing the extent of the data tampering. Programmers' comments within the code admitted to artificially adjusting data to make it appear closer to real temperatures. One example showed data being corrected by removing the decline, even though the series didn't begin its decline adjustment in 1960, the supposed year of the divergence. Another example showed a very artificial correction for decline, with a fudge factor applied to bias temperatures upwards. Despite the explosive nature of the revelations, the mainstream media largely ignored the story. The BBC, which had a copy of the data for a month before the story broke, failed to report on it accurately, if at all. Environmental journalists, who had profited from the global warming scare, were reluctant to report on the scandal. But on the internet, the news spread like wildfire, exposing the corruption and criminality of the scientific and political establishment. The Team, desperate to protect their reputation and their funding, went to great lengths to prevent other researchers from accessing their data and methods. They used the Freedom of Information Act as a shield, hiding behind public interest immunity, the Data Protection Act, and even reclassifying their work as United Nations work to evade disclosure. Professor Jones even discussed destroying data to prevent it from being released. The revelations had a profound impact. The credibility of the Climate Research Unit and the scientists involved was shattered. The scientific community was forced to confront the reality that the data underpinning the global warming narrative was deeply flawed. The media too faced scrutiny for its role in perpetuating the scare without questioning the science. The whistleblower's revelations cast doubt on the reliability of global temperature datasets. The Climate Research Unit's dataset, or the Hadley CRU dataset, was shown to be manipulated and unreliable. The NASA GISS dataset, too, was found to have been tampered with raw data being processed in a way that exaggerated the warming trend. The scandal prompted a re-examination of national temperature records. In New Zealand, researchers discovered that the official temperature record had been manipulated to show a warming trend that didn't exist. The oldest readings had been lowered and later readings artificially lifted, creating a false impression of warming. So, what can be done to prevent such corruption in the future? First, we need to clean house. The Climate Research Unit should be closed, and those responsible for the fraud should be held accountable. Secondly, we need a standardized international network of properly sited automated land temperature monitoring stations to ensure the reliability of temperature data. Thirdly, those who have acted maliciously should be dismissed from publicly funded scientific posts and barred from international scientific endeavors. Finally, all public policy measures based on the discredited global warming narrative should be put on hold until reliable temperature data shows a significant rise in global temperatures. In conclusion, the ClimateGate scandal is a stark reminder of the dangers of allowing political agendas to corrupt scientific inquiry. As former U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower warned in his farewell address, we must be vigilant against the domination of public policy by a scientific technological elite. The future of our planet and our freedom depends on it. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the ClimateGate scandal. I hope this episode has shed some light on the importance of transparency, accountability, and the integrity of scientific research. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and stay curious. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.